Welcome to SVG-TV News for Monday, November 20th, 2017. I am Rochelle Baptiste with the details. The opposition New Democratic Party, the NDP, today announced the appointment of lawyer K. Bacchus-Baptiste as a senator who will take up a seat in Parliament at the next sit-in. Bacchus-Baptiste is expected to contest the West St. George seat on the NDP ticket at the next general elections. The attorney has taken over from Senator Dr. Julian Ferdinand, who recused himself from competitive politics, citing work commitments out of state. In an interview with SVG-TV News today via the telephone, Bacchus-Baptiste said that she is elated by her appointment and that she sees it as another opportunity to do more for the nation's people.
I first of all want to thank Dr. Friday for reposing the confidence in me, and he can be assured that I will not let him down. I mean, I've always been involved in seeking the rights of citizens, of fighting for democracy, fighting for the Constitution, defending the poor. I've done many cases pro bono, always about helping the lesser man, helping the poorer man in that respect, you know. And so it has just taken it to another level this time, and I want to thank him for reposing, as I said, the confidence in me, and he can be assured that I shall do everything in my power with the help of Almighty God to represent.
Meanwhile, Bacchus-Baptiste, who is on the legal team for the petitioners in a case before the High Court, confirmed to SVG-TV News today that they have filed a new motion and that her team is confident that the ruling of the case will come out in their favor to have the ballots of the December 2015 elections inspected.
Well, we have a date set for the trial to be heard on December 13th. And on that date, well, the court we would advance the arguments that we want to view the ballot boxes. The other side, of course, will object or agree to whatever they had agreed on before. And after the argument, the court will decide. I'm very confident about it. I mean, the other side agreed simply because they had no other option, I think, when they agreed for us to view those limited 4 ballot boxes. But I'm also confident that we should be able to view all of the ballot boxes based on our pleadings, based upon what we have said in the affidavits, why we need to view the ballot boxes.
Bacchus-Baptiste is of the view that if the ballots are inspected, they will reveal discrepancies that could significantly alter the results of the December 9, 2015 general elections.
I mean, issue here is that we are alleging that the ballot papers were not designed according to law, and that the way it was designed, it breached the secrecy of the ballot. And so when we examine the ballot papers, we would be able to see the faulty design.
Minister of Labour and Industry, Supporter Caesar, is calling on citizens of this country to develop a work ethic of excellence. Minister Caesar, who was on Star FM recently, called on Vincentians to step up their productivity by developing the right mindset, which he said will ensure that the country advances.
Having that competitive mindset, and we have to move away from the idea that to be competitive is destructive.
Yes.
Some persons are of the view that if I am competitive, if I want to be at work early, you know, some persons will say, what he playing? Every morning he come in early, want to shop the others. But we cannot build a nation if we are not forthright in our approach to work. And I think that as young persons who are working together, working to take St. Vincent and the Grenadines forward, we have to lay down our markers, firstly by saying that we have to do better as a people as it pertains to our work ethic. And this is something that we have to advance.
Minister of Finance Camilo Gonzalez made an appeal for persons to improve their skill sets and also shared the opinion that this would ensure not only personal growth but also economic growth for the country.
Increasingly, our talent and our skill and our productivity will help us to move, help us to migrate, help our capital to move, but we have to, at all times, ensure that it is of the highest quality to make sure that we are competitive with ourselves internally and competitive with our brothers and sisters in the region and beyond. And you know, we have it in us, because when we travel overseas,
yes,
outside of the region, I mean, people always marvel at the quality of the Vincentian work ethic, at how well we work, how well we're producing in the United States, in Canada, the quality of our craftsmanship, the quality of our minds, and all the work that we do internationally, because we rise to the level of the competition and we exceed it.
One cannot talk about nutrition and food security and omit discussions on access to clean water. That's according to national correspondent of the Food and Agriculture Organization, FAO, Dr. Colleen Phillips, as she gave remarks at a stakeholders workshop on Friday, geared towards implementing several actions of the Zero Hunger Initiative. Dr. Phillips said that many tend to forget the critical role water plays in ensuring food security.
70% of water is consumed by agriculture, and be it consumption in crops or with animals. By 2025, 1.8 billion would live in zones with scarcity to water. We cannot talk nutrition and we cannot talk food if we do not think water, because food does include water, and very often food is omitted. Water is omitted, sorry. People tend not to think water when they think food. But the reality is, soon, by 2025, we may fully well have uprisings because of the issue of lack of water. And it is a real concern. It's a concern that must be analyzed and prepared for.
The FAO representative further added that whilst millions suffered from a lack of access to food, the numbers in relation to obesity is equally staggering, and called for a system to ensure access to both food and knowledge on healthy eating.
We have 200 million persons who are deficient when it comes to vitamin and mineral intake. Obesity rates has doubled in the past 30 years. 1.4 billion are overweight in the world, and 5 million are considered obese. These indicators are staggering, and it's really important that we make every single effort to try and bring about health, a system that would be so integral that people would not just have access to food, but they would have access to knowledge that would ensure that they eat the foods that are appropriate to sustain their very existence.
Also speaking at the ceremony was Agriculture Planning Officer Debbie Daniel, who said agriculture is a crucial element in the sustainability of any nation.
We must recognize that agriculture has to meet triple challenges: to raise farm incomes, to boost productivity to feed the nation, and to do so in a manner that conserves resources for future production needs, with a focus on small-scale farmers and on preparing the most vulnerable to cope with food crisis. Agriculture plays a substantial role in any sustainable future, given that it is linked to food, air, climate change, water, soil, biodiversity, and jobs. Agriculture is the heart of the Sustainable Development Goal number 2.
The second annual Forensics and Law Symposium was hosted here on Friday, November 17th by the SVG Medical Association in collaboration with the SVG Bar Association and the Sir Arnett Cato Foundation. Giving remarks at the opening ceremony was government MP and lawyer Soboto Caesar, who told the gathering that emanating from a conference in Samoa, the United Nations considers the use of technology as a critical component in the development of small islands like St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
In 2014, the United Nations hosted a developmental conference in Samoa. And coming out of this conference was crafted a list of ideas known as the Samoa Pathway document. And very important, in these guidelines outlined for the advancement of small island developing states is how do we incorporate technology as a very important facet of our development. And when we speak about forensics, we speak about science, and we speak about the usage of technology for the advancement of every sphere of our body politic.
Using an example from his experience as a lawyer, Minister Caesar illustrated the frustration many legal practitioners face when trying to ensure justice, noting that forensics can aid in this aspect.
Sometimes you have an excellent case, you know the evidence, you have the facts on your side, but proving it is almost impossible. And it is very disheartening for prosecutors and for police officers, after doing such hard and diligent work, not to be able to administer justice. The presentations to be done are geared towards the enhancement of our skill sets as we seek to administer justice in our jurisdictions in the most effective and efficacious ways. And I'm happy that it is not only a St. Vincent and the Grenadines approach to ensure that forensics continue to play a very important part in the evolution of our jurisprudence.
Caesar expressed confidence that the symposium will boost the participants' capacity as well as aid in the development of SVG's jurisprudence.
Presentations to be done are geared towards the enhancement of our skill sets as we seek to administer justice in our jurisdictions in the most effective and efficacious ways. And I'm happy that it is not only a St. Vincent and the Grenadines approach to ensure that forensics continue to play a very important part in the evolution of our jurisprudence. Because for those of us who will read the reports and the reporters from time to time, the strength and quality of our jurisprudence is dependent upon us doing hard and dedicated work to ensure that, especially in the criminal law, that forensics reside at the heart of our work.
Police here are investigating the death of an elderly shoemaker in the Stubbs area over the weekend. Reports are that on Sunday, November 19th, 60-year-old Carl Abu Richards was found in the lower section of his two-story house in the Stubbs community. A resident in the area reported that the foul smell was emanating from the house, and upon investigation, they discovered Richards' body with his hands tied behind his back. Police were called to the scene. A post-mortem examination will be conducted on the body of the 60-year-old to ascertain the cause of death. Speaking with persons in the area who knew Richards, they said that they last saw the shoemaker on Friday and did not see him go into town on Saturday to conduct his usual business. They describe Richards as an easygoing, simple guy who was faithful to everyone, particularly his customers. Residents also recounted that about 3 years ago, there was an attempted robbery against Richards, who had to flee his home. In commemoration of International Men's Day celebrated annually on November 19th, Project Men 2020, in collaboration with the Gender Affairs Division, on Sunday hosted a men's rally and street football competition at the Calico Hart Court. Aimed at showing appreciation and celebrating the lives and contribution of all men, the event featured a number of remarks and cultural presentations, as well as the recognition of outstanding male role models in the Vincentian society. Nikita Tony tells us more in this report.
Opportunity for persons around the world to appreciate and celebrate the lives and contribution of all men. International Men's Day was observed here in SVG on Sunday, November 19th, with a men's rally and street football competition at the Calico Hart Court. Held under the theme Let's Celebrate Men and Boys, last evening's event was hosted by the Project Men 2020 organization in collaboration with the Gender Affairs Division. Assistant Coordinator of Project Men 2020, Alex Altidore, noted that his organization was proud to partner with various agencies to uplift, empower, and motivate Vincentian men.
Together this afternoon, I want to encourage all of us to celebrate manhood and boyhood. More than that, I want to encourage all of us to realize this is our season to rise up and be better fathers, better husbands, be better men in society, make this nation and the world a better place.
In his remarks, Minister of Gender Affairs Frederick Stevenson said the day's event served as a forum to engage men and boys as partners in promoting gender justice, peaceful partnership, and social harmony.
It's a community solution. Therefore, there is a need for males within our society to be inspired, to be engaged in the examination of existing beliefs and norms, and the development of new paradigms and competencies, thus creating opportunities for change. Calls for us to embrace the opportunities for all of us, women and men, to unite. That is why this International Day for Men is so very important.
Issuing a charge to men and boys, Reverend Adolph Davis reflected on the topic, who is a blessed man?
Blessed man understands that it is in God's word that we learn what it is to truly be a man. If you want to know what it is to be a man, check the Bible. Because the truth is, a lot of our men don't understand what it is to be a man. Because they're listening, go back to the beginning, to the wrong men talking about what manhood is. And if you understand how God designed you, it allows you to be able to fulfill your real purpose as a man.
Sunday's event also saw 5 outstanding male role models being recognized for their contribution to society. They are James Brown for his contribution to community development, Ricky Burnett for his service to family and marriage, youth development advocate Dylan Oliver, with Geoff Venner and Sunil Ambrose receiving awards for their contribution to culture and sports respectively. Nikita Tony reporting for SVG-TV News.
Thank you, Nikita. Passengers, particularly the youth, have been encouraged to desist from reckless behavior while traveling in public transportation. The encouragement comes from Sergeant Parnell Brown of the Traffic Department of the RSVG Police Force as he spoke on videos circulating on social media displaying students engaged in what has been deemed as dangerous behavior whilst in omnibuses. Sergeant Brown said in one such video, persons were observed dancing as well as having part of their bodies out of the vehicle, a situation which he said can lead to serious injuries or death.
Now we have had videos of passengers who are occupying these motor vehicles who are behaving reckless in that some of them put their bodies outside of the vehicle. and or dancing and so forth. But I don't know if they are aware of the dangers that lies ahead. Now sometimes these vehicles can drive close to an object outside that is probably stationary on the road, and they can get part of their body cut off. So what I am saying is that the operators of these motor vehicles have to ensure that when passengers are seated in their vehicle, that they are seated and not putting parts of their body outside, because they are exposing the drivers to being charged and themselves to being injured, seriously injured if not dead.
In reference to the recently held road trip, the police sergeant said members of the traffic department were along the route ensuring that safety regulations were adhered to by the omnibuses taking part in the activity.
Police from the traffic department, along with the officer in charge of traffic, went to the South Central Windward community to ensure that when these vehicles leave where the destination were, at South Rivers, that they have the correct amount of passengers seated in their vehicle, and the recklessness that was seen on video did not occur while they were coming back down. The officers spent up to 12 midnight on Saturday to ensure that this did not occur while they were coming back from their journey, on their journey. Technically, I am saying that people have to be more responsible. If these young people are to be the men and women of tomorrow, they have to be more responsible and more responsible. And they cannot be drinking and riding in vehicles and putting themselves in harm's way.
Sergeant Brown added that the force has been engaged in meetings with omnibus owners and operators, including those who are featured in the various social media videos, to chart a better way forward.
What we are doing, we have since calling the buses that were on display in the videos. We have since calling the operators, and we have had meetings with them. An investigation is being carried out into the matter. And in the future, we are seeking audience with the persons who are organizing the event to ensure that the proper documentation is being done and they have the approval, so that we could enlighten them as to the danger they are putting themselves and the passengers in when they are carrying out these kind of functions. So we intend to go that kind of route in terms of having meetings with them.
A drug bust of a quantity of cocaine carrying a street value of 2 million EC dollars was made on the Grenadine island of Bequia last Wednesday. Aldo Osborne and Shari Oliver were then arrested and charged with 3 offenses, including possession of a drug with intent to supply for the purpose of trafficking and conspiracy between November 13th and 15, 2017. They both appeared at the serious offenses court today and were not allowed to plead to the offenses, which were laid indictable. Court prosecutor Adolphus Delplesh did not object to their bail, which was allowed in the sum of $200,000 each with one surety. They were asked to surrender all travel documents to the court and to report to the Port Elizabeth Police Station on Monday, Wednesdays and Fridays between 6 a.m. and 6 p.m. and not to leave the country without the express permission of the court. The preliminary inquiry has been set for January 29, 2018.